Hi everyone, so I found this chart online which just helps beginner players understand the different generations of units that were released into the game. I do apologize, I still have a cold, so it feels like I'm speaking through my nose, but anyway, for newcomers it can be very overwhelming, like what units are good, what units are what. So just to give you an overall, a general context of these units, I'm just going to go through these units from the earliest units to the latest units, and just explain a little bit about them so that you can know which units are worth pulling for, which units are worth investing in or not. So starting at the bottom, we have these units that we get for free. These are like our earliest units that we had, and the earlier units are usually not as good as the newer units as you go up, but they do have some uses, and a lot of early units also give a new skill to their newer versions. So all three of these units at the bottom are going to get newer versions, so they will have a skill that they can pass on to their newer versions, and that's what kind of makes these units useful. Otherwise, I wouldn't really run these units in my team. If you go to the first releases of units, the 1.0 over here, we have Gloria. So I'm just going to say whether I'll pull on any of these units, and at the moment, so currently I wouldn't like waste precious pulls or resources on pulling on like a Gloria, although she's a solid unit. She was one of the best in the beginning. Tiden, I would just skip all these units. Inanna, I would maybe go for her just to get the skill that she gives to her newer version. For Inanna SP, that's her newer version. And none of these units interest me. If I was a new player, I wouldn't use any resources on getting them. If you already have them, then that's great. They can be decent for your team. Even Edda, maybe I would skip on her. Momo is one I would go for. She will make your life very easy on auto. She's very good at clearing content for you, and she's just strong in general. She has a lot of utility and uses. So she's a decent unit if you wanted to pull on her. And none of these units in here, I'm not saying they're bad, I'm just saying in relation to the newer units that are coming out, their value is not as good. Samantha, just like Inanna, she gives a skill to a newer version, and a newer version is very powerful, just like Inanna's newer version. So for those reasons, they're useful, these units. If you do have them, that would be nice. 2.0, the units start getting stronger here. So Sophia's always solid for DPS, and then we have August as well. He's solid. There are better units that have come out than them, but if you do have them, it's not bad. I just wouldn't really pull on them now compared to what's coming out. Coco is always solid. She's always been there. She's a very solid unit to defend and to heal your team, and for cooldown reductions. The rest is just not that interesting. Homer is a solid pick for some damage, healing, and to amplify your damage. That's a solid unit. And Karis, although I'm a fan of Karis, I would skip that. Garth is another solid unit that if you have in your team, it will be quite a solid unit to have. Can't really go wrong with the Gartha, as well as with Tahir for your support, healing, all sorts of buffs and things. He's just a solid unit, quite future-proof. And then if we go to 3.0, we have some even stronger units in here. So Rawia is another good unit. I wouldn't mind pulling on Rawia if I was a new player, but there are alternatives to her. Pamina is a unit. If I was a new player, I would definitely want to have Pamina. She's very strong in damage and tankiness, and especially her auto. She will make your life easier by clearing lots of content for you. Tristan, if I was a new player, I wouldn't really pull on her unless I really needed DPS. She frustrates me with her short movement. Very difficult for her to move around the map. And then she's also a glass cannon before 4 stars. She does need 4 stars to stay alive longer as well, but she is a very powerful unit in terms of damage. Layla's another good auto unit. Would I pull on her? I'm not too sure. She's good for your team. Sophia SP, she's gonna help your team as well. It's not a bad pull. Kavar is a unit I would pull for if I was a new unit. I would build my team around a unit like him. So he's gonna do a lot. He does everything, and yeah, his damage over time is invaluable. So units like this, if I was a new player, I would love to build a team around like a Kavare, a Pamina, maybe a Coco, Homa, Tahir, maybe even a Gas. So those types of units, if I was a new player, that would be kind of a solid team to start building around. Then we get into the new patch that we just came out of. I skipped all these units except for Estra, because I know there's a lot of a lot of top units that are coming out, so I've used this as an opportunity to save up for those units that are coming out later. And but there are decent units in here. Estra is she does the most single target damage in the game, and very fun to play. And these two are solid if you do have them. This one is more of a gimmick unit, but I skipped most of these units because now in the current patch we have some top units coming out like Lutfi. I'll be pulling on Lutfi. I skipped Aisha. She just underwhelms me with her damage. She's supposed to be a defender that does damage, but she's not really built for damage, and defensive wise, you know, I just wasn't convinced with her. She is a solid unit, and so I skipped her. I also skipped this. I'm gonna skip this unit. I think it's tomorrow she comes out, just because there's gonna be such a rough schedule of units that we have to pull for. As free-to-play players, it's very rough, so you have to be very selective, and I'm prioritizing this as my #1 priority in on ASP. Not just her, I also want to pull for her astral gear, get her astral gear up to 3 stars at least. Usually as free to play you shouldn't really pull on astral gear, but if you do plan correctly you can do it. And for me, my strategy is I just skip a lot of the mid units and just prioritize quality over quantity, and then I'll focus more, invest more resources in the top units than just going for a bunch of, you know, mid units that are around. So very selective about what I pull for, because we have to consider astral gear, not just the unit as well. And then we have Nidia. I'll be pulling for Nidia as well. She's just gonna make your life easier in terms of her damage. Very fun unit to play. Even in the current latest state of the game on my Taiwanese server, I'm still relying on Nidia, and she just combines well with the new Union, latest Union team that's being come out. And then we have the collab units over here. Not too much going on in here. This guy we get for free. I did pull for Balin in my Taiwanese server, and I do not regret the decision. She just helps you clear very difficult stages by keeping your team alive. That's what she does, and she does it well. Yeah, very happy with this unit. Made my life easy. I'll probably go for her on my global server again. And then Marcial's AoE damage. Is it worth pulling for these units? You know, it depends if you like these units, but they're not very high priority. Farlin will help you clear difficult content though. These units have 100 pull pity, I think. But anyway. And then on the latest units that came out, we have Rico. I'll skip Rico. Strong defender unit. But there's just stronger units that come out after her. Credenza I'll be going for. Very powerful support unit. And then we have like units like, if I remember correctly, Parsifal, another strong unit. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull for Parsifal or not. And then we have Samantha SP, another powerful unit. I'll prioritize her. And then, what am I missing here? Samantha SP, Iserin, I'll be going for that. And Camelot for that new Union team. Very fun team to play. They work very smoothly together. But yeah, that's how I'm usually thinking ahead. Or what's coming out ahead in terms of planning what I'm going to pull for now. But yeah, as a new player, I just hope that this would have given you some kind of context to realize, okay, this guy compared to this guy is so strong, and what can I just ignore, filter out, you know, a lot of the units that you can just, you know, sort of just understand the different generations of units that came out and how it gets progressively better. But there are some useful units that are older units as well. Yeah, hopefully this helps you so that you're not too overwhelmed. Otherwise, if you have any other questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll try to get to you, or someone else will also try and get to you. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.